Okay. Once again, spiritual warfare. Let's go here. Let's go here. Let's go here.
Today's Daily Health. It's a story we've been tracking closely. Potentially harmful chemicals making their way into braiding hair and extensions that are often marketed to black women. By some estimates, over 70% of black women use hair extensions or weaves at least once a year. Now, new data released this month is shining a light on the potential risks of these cosmetic products. I spoke with the researchers behind these two new studies. A style often deemed as protective for black women is now under scrutiny as two new studies warn of health risks in hair extensions. On Tuesday, Consumer Reports revealing new findings that human, synthetic, and plant-based hair extensions from 30 brands have volatile organic compounds or heavy metals like lead.
Human hair, by far, had the most lead that we've ever seen in testing these products, orders of magnitude above synthetic hairs.
The study looked at 3 samples of each brand, and there were some exceptions. One product with no heavy metals, another with low heavy metals.
So that tells us that these manufacturers can make a safer product.
Nearly a year ago, we spoke with medical student Crystal Thomas, whose commentary on braiding hair led to Consumer Reports' first announcement.
Wait, so we're talking low-level spiritual warfare. So you black women that were buying the yaki and all the human hair, right? And those human hair comes from little girls in India under stress and duress. They're crying or sobbing. They get their hair cut off against their will. Yeah, they may clean and bleach the hair, but that trauma is still attached to their hair, and you throw that shit on top of your head. This is low level spiritual warfare. This is why I say the majority of y'all are cooked. You got someone else's hair on the top of your head. Does that even make logical sense to you? I don't want to revisit the weave debate or topic again, but I'm just saying this is low level shit.
Analysis.
I noticed my hair was itching and it was just difficult to breathe overall.
Now, research is expanding. The Silent Spring Institute, a scientific research nonprofit, testing 43 hair extension products.
We found chemicals in these products that are associated with cancer, reproductive harm, and also birth defects.
The hair containing 169 chemicals.
This is why you end up with fibroids, uterine issues, cysts on your ovaries and shit, and you don't know why. Yeah, because you got someone else's hair on the top of your head. Okay, but look, come on.
Including flame retardants and pesticides.
Jeez.
We found that all but 2 of the products that we looked at contained at least one of those hazard chemicals.
What substances most alarmed you and why?
The compounds that most alarmed me from this study were the organo-10 compounds. Those are compounds that are typically not found in consumer products. We know that they're associated with endocrine disruption in humans as well as cancer.
While both studies had small sample sizes, calls for more research and regulation are growing, with New York and New Jersey introducing legislation to regulate or ban synthetic braiding hair in 2025. The Safer Beauty Bill package also reintroduced in the House last year.
There needs to be more efforts to uncover some of the products and their risks.
Do y'all see the links that the government will go through to help and protect black women? Black women better not ever in their fucking life ever say that they're the least protected. Since when? Since the 60s? The government has to create a bill because you don't want to do better by your own health standards. The white man got to come in and tell you, hey, stop putting this shit in y'all hair. Stop putting these chemicals in y'all's hair. The white man got to come in and tell you this. Once again, I'm not trying to revisit an old debate.
For more on what these findings mean for your health, we're bringing in Dr. Uche Blackstock. She's a physician and the CEO of Advancing Health Equity. So good to have you.
Thank you.
As we mentioned, small sample sizes, but still alarming findings, particularly arsenic and lead. What does it mean that some of these compounds are in these cosmetic products?
So what it means and what we know is that these compounds are linked to increased cancer risk. They're linked to hormone disruptions. They're linked to developmental issues with reproductive health. And so they have real concerns, but we know they're also in the hair, right? They're in synthetic hair, they're in human hair because it's processed, but we don't know what the long-term chronic exposure of wearing these synthetic hair or the braids has on people.
And it's often worn for months at a time. Viewers have seen me change it up often in the black community, right? We call it protective styling. It protects your hair potentially from breaking, gives you a break from styling.
Which is that's a way of saying you don't want to take care of your hair. They were not saying a protective hairstyle in the 60s, 70s, 80s, not even in the 90s. Hell, who was the pimp, the female pimp, when she told y'all to start hot combing y'all hair? You never heard that term protective styling. That's just a way of saying you don't want to take care of your hair. You are too lazy to take care of your own hair. There's no such thing as protective hair. Protected from what? Protected from what? Oh, okay, come on.
And yet, these risks. How exactly, though, are the chemicals entering the body? Because someone might say, well, it's on my head.
Right.
What's the big deal?
Yeah, and so what's really important to know is the scalp is, we call it well vascularized. It has lots of blood vessels, and so it can absorb whatever you put on it, whatever cream, whatever product you put on it. And so the scalp can easily absorb the chemicals that are in these braids. Also, these braids emit off gas. Okay,
especially
so
when
chemicals
heat
are gas,
is applied,
especially when heated. So that's the other thing. Please do not apply heat to the synthetic hair, but they can cause pulmonary irritation, and you can inhale it through your nose and through your lungs.
I mean, I read that stat at the beginning. Black women, about 70% will have synthetic hair or a wig at least once a year. So what does this mean? Do we have to stop this style that has been in our culture for generations?
Right. So no, you don't have to stop. We're not saying, and the evidence doesn't say wearing it once is going to make a difference. We just don't know what the chronic exposure is. And so what you can do is ask your braider, where are you getting the hair from, right? What's the source of it? We also want to see transparency around ingredients, checking what the ingredients are on the hair bundles, right? If there's a hair that has a very strong chemical odor, you don't want to use it. Also, we talked about the heat, not applying heat to synthetic hair because that causes off-gassing, emitting more of these gases.
Wait, didn't Chris Rock? Wow. We already have our own hair. Okay. Man was saying, hey, do your hair like Farrah Fawcett. No, no. You can't put that on black men. That's religion, doctrine. I don't do that. But what in y'all good sense of why would you want? Do you hear this baby crying? This baby's not happy. She's being scalped with a razor. She doesn't understand why. All she knows is I'm uncomfortable. This razor is burning my scalp. They're cutting off my hair. This baby is upset. And you don't think that trauma going to transfer into that baby's hair? I don't care how much bleach, dye, and hand washes you put through it. That trauma is still attached to that hair. And your dumb ass going to put that shit on top of your head. Okay. Hey, man, listen. Free will. Okay. Once again, this is low-level spiritual warfare that y'all are losing every day.
And hormone suppression. So, excuse me, so that is an issue. Yeah.
Big takeaway, what would you say to someone at home who's still feeling a little...
Know what you're using, ask for what the brands are, ask for the sourcing, probably decrease the amount of time you're using it. Yeah.
Dr. Uche